Dead man's family accuses a deputy county probate judge of plundering through a dead man's home just hours after he died. Well, the family has accused the judge of taking part in stealing cash, a gun, and other property that belonged to the man, along with impersonating a public official.
Hollis SLED knew he was in trouble. After weeks of stomach pain, he called 911 for help. SLED was bleeding internally and could not move. His wife, Joyce, was trying to get him help, but she couldn't do much for her husband and stood by helplessly as medics loaded him into an ambulance. Joyce suffers from dementia and can't be left alone. A fireman hung around to make sure she was cared for.
How long have you two been together? A long time?
I can't tell you how many years off the top of my head.
What's the secret?
Just loving each other.
Just loving each other so well.
And he was such a bright, shining difference from what I had. We've been married a long time. I can't tell you how many years because my memory is not as long as it used to be.
She didn't know it then, but she'd never see her husband again. 1 week shy of his 68th birthday, Hollis SLED was dead. Now, we should probably explain these security cameras. SLED installed them to protect his thousands of dollars in foxhounds and to watch out for his wife when he left home. Nothing moved in SLED's yard without those cameras catching it. The family provided the recordings to us. Within hours of SLED's death, those cameras recorded Matthew Tomlinson's arrival. Hollis SLED had mentored Tomlinson, and he was deeply involved in SLED's hound hobby. A bit later, Tomlinson returned with 3 others, his mother, Charlotte Green, her boyfriend, Ricky Gardner, and their friend, Will Adams. The recordings show Adams making multiple calls to coroners. The recordings don't show why. Adams also worked to find SLED's family members to tell them about the death. The recordings also show the group going in and out of SLED's home.
I don't see nothing on the computer. I got to look through the files. Field trial miss. 99% of it.
And searching his property.
What the hell is that? Christmas present?
2 wheel from home.
It might be.
No, it says 2 miles from home.
He got a whole truck full of Christmas presents supposed to give me. Said he ain't opened yet.
The talk soon turns to who might end up with the things that belong to Hollis SLED. The recordings show Will Adams eventually got in touch with an attorney seeking probate information.
I think we got the right people working for us.
And passed that legal advice along to Ricky Gardner and Charlotte Green.
Drug that brother with it all. Well, everything would go to her and assets.
That's right.
But assets would be, here's what Jason's saying, and here's what Parker said. They actually said the same thing. So I reckon that's the way the statute of the law is that the oldest sibling.
The recording abruptly ended there. The talk eventually turned to the things they didn't want to leave behind.
It's kind of like you got $2,000 worth of tracking collars sitting in there.
What about all the money in the bank?
It's unreal. And you tell it.
The 401k stack.
I hate to leave $2,000 worth of tracking collars and 2 garments sitting there.
This document was on Hollis SLED's computer, showing an accounting of those collars. There were 43 in all. Ricky Gardner's name was listed as the owner of 12 of those collars.
Where I hate to leave all this.
It's going to be sad if somebody else comes.
Brother get it. No, he didn't want him to have it.
He didn't want him to have it.
I know he didn't want him to have it. I heard him say it.
This whole room really is about Hollis.
Beth SLED Bowling is Hollis SLED's oldest sister. She found out about her brother's death in one of those calls Will Adams made outside her brother's home. Bowling and her daughter hopped in the car the next morning to make the 12-hour trip from Indiana. Meanwhile, in Marlboro County, Ricky Gardner was the first to arrive the next morning.
Hollis' sister, they're supposed to be here. They're supposed to be here this evening, 7, 8 o'clock or something.
The videos show this was the first time they were alone with Joyce. The cameras showed things soon started leaving the house and being loaded into Ricky Gardner's truck. The recordings show this continued through the day, and sometime that morning, a woman who worked for the Marlboro County probate judge at the time showed up. That woman's name is Tammy Bullock. She had once worked with Hollis Slade at a paper mill he helped manage in town. She, too, did her share in the plundering. These cameras caught parts of conversations where Bullock, like the others, was there hunting for something specific.
His will, because we don't know his sister. We all taking turns rummaging through stuff and sitting with her and trying to make her eat. And I'm hoping, his sister's supposed to be here.
This all happened as Beth Slade Bowling was rushing towards South Carolina from Indiana. The group knew she was coming, and the videos show they had a plan for when she got there. Coming up.
So, if anything comes up and you need to, let them know that his secretary for the past 30 years is now a probate judge, and if they need him,
We just need to be nice. We don't need to talk finances. We don't need to say we turned the house upside down today trying to find the wheel.
A sister on the way to plan her brother's funeral.
I am figuring out that there are some untrustworthy people in Marlboro County, and I don't know what to do.
Would end up in front of the county sheriff asking for a criminal investigation.
They stole from Mr. Hollis.
And the caretaker, who says the group turned her into a witness.
They were ripping the man off, and he hadn't even got cold.
When our final disrespects investigation continues after the break.